Real energy. Jesse Marsch reveals Canadian PM influence. Team hailed for fight. Picture this. You just lost 1-0. Your locker room's quiet, and who walks in? Not a motivational speaker. Not a former player. The Prime Minister of Canada, with a FIFA president, in Montreal, after watching your game from a suite. If that doesn't sound like the most Canadian sports movie plot ever, I don't know what does. Welcome back to Canada Bulletin, where today we're breaking down how Mark Carney just became Canada's soccer team's hype man-in-chief, and why Jesse Marsch is basically turning our national team into the Avengers of multiculturalism. Buckle up. All right, let's set the scene, because this story has more layers than a Montreal poutine. Friday night, Montreal, Canada versus Australia. Stakes? Not enormous. It's a friendly, but the guest list? Stacked. We're talking Prime Minister Mark Carney and FIFA President Gianni Infantino, sitting in a suite with CF Montreal owner Joey Saputo, probably sipping something fancy while watching Canada fight tooth and nail against the Aussies. Now, before they showed up in Montreal, these two were in Ottawa doing a 2026 FIFA World Cup photo op. You know, the World Cup that Canada is co-hosting with the U.S. and Mexico? Yeah, that one. The one where we actually get to play on home soil for the first time as hosts. No pressure or anything. Canada loses 1-0. Not ideal, but here's where it gets spicy. Jesse Marsch, yes, the American coach who's been running Canada's squad since 2024, didn't need to give some dramatic losing locker room speech. Why? Because he had the literal Prime Minister of Canada ready to step in like the closer in the 9th inning. And Mark Carney? He came with the energy. I'm talking full-on we believe in you vibes, telling the players, you're going to transform this country, and we're going to transform this country through the process of doing it. We're bringing it home. Sir, we've never won a World Cup game. We've scored 1 goal in World Cup history. 1. But you know what? I respect the confidence. That's the kind of delusional optimism that wins championships. Or at least makes great content. But wait, it gets better. Because Jesse Marsch, who, let's not forget, is American, had some thoughts about this whole Prime Minister cameo. Jesse Marsch is an interesting dude. He's American. He's coached in Europe. And he's been very vocal about his criticism of Donald Trump and the U.S. government. So when Canada's Prime Minister shows up to support his team, yeah, Marsch noticed. He told reporters. Carney came in with real positivity, and there was real energy to have him there from the guys in our team. Real energy. Real positivity. Not fake politician energy. Real energy. That's a flex. Marsch continued. He should be really proud of this team, and he should be really proud of the character of the men in the team, and he should be really proud of how this team represents the nation. This team isn't just good at soccer. They're good people. And for Marsch, who's clearly seen some stuff managing in different countries, that matters. He even called it an honor to have the Prime Minister and FIFA's president there. And then he drops this gem. We're going to take that with us, put it in our back pocket, and make sure we do everything we can to make this country proud next summer. In the back pocket. Jesse Marsch just pocket-sized the Prime Minister's pep talk for later use. That's coach energy. That's save this motivation for when we really need it. Energy. I love it. Now, here's where this story goes from sports news to something way more meaningful. Canada's men's national soccer team isn't just a soccer team. It's basically a living, breathing representation of what Canada actually is. We're talking first and second generation immigrants from all over the globe. The squad is a multicultural mosaic, and Marsch has been shouting this on the rooftops since he took over. Take Alphonso Davies, for example. Born in a refugee camp in Ghana to Liberian parents fleeing civil war, Davies moved to Canada as a kid and became one of the best left-backs on the planet. He wasn't in this match due to injury, but his story alone is proof that Canadian soccer is built different. Then there's Jonathan Osorio, who literally draped himself in a Colombian flag after Canada qualified for the 2022 World Cup. That's not disrespect to Canada. That's love for heritage and country. It's both. It's nuanced. It's beautiful. Marsch said it best back in March. They're almost all first and second generation Canadians coming from different heritages and cultures, but they're incredibly proud to be Canadian, to represent their country, to give everything to each other and the love that they have for each other and playing for their country. This isn't just a team. It's a statement. It's proof that diversity isn't a buzzword. It's a competitive advantage. It's what makes Canada, Canada. And on the global stage of the World Cup, that's the story we're telling the world. And speaking of telling stories, let's talk about Mark Carney's soccer credentials, because yes, the man has receipts. Mark Carney isn't some politician pretending to care about soccer for votes. The man is a devout fan. He supports Everton in the Premier League. Yes, he chose pain and suffering as his football identity, respect, and he's got cousins in Liverpool. He's been watching Canadian squad closely for years, even before he ran for office. And get this, he's the second consecutive Prime Minister to visit the Canadian squad. Justin Trudeau showed up to a training session in Edmonton back in 2021 during World Cup qualifying. So apparently, showing up for the boys is now a Canadian PM tradition. I'm here for it. After the match, Carney told TSN, "You see the fight in this team and the talent. The Aussies scored against a run of play, but let's be clear, we had a lot of chances at the end. It's encouraging." He's analyzing the game, not just showing up for a photo op. He's talking tactics, run of play, chances created. This man watched the match like a fan. And then he said, "We're positive, we're attacking, and it's a very different football team." He even threw shade at the 1986 team. He was like, "Back then we had a defensive system, but now we've got everything." Sir, the 1986 team got us to our first World Cup. But sure, roast them. I love the confidence. All right, let's talk stakes. Because the World Cup isn't just coming to Canada. It's coming home. Canada has played 6 World Cup games in history. We've lost all of them. We've scored 1 goal. Uno, a singular goal. That's our entire World Cup legacy. But in 2026, we're hosting. Toronto gets the first game on June 12th. Then we move to Vancouver for group stage and, fingers crossed, knockout rounds. Carney put it perfectly. What it's like when the World Cup is on, you see the whole mosaic that is our country. Almost all of us are from somewhere else. This is going to be the best of Canada. And then he hit us with this closer. There are 3 hosts, we're all equal,